Hi, buddy. Well, this is going to be an update on the plywood John boat project that I've been doing recently. I didn't do a video on it yesterday. I'm sorry. I was working on the boat yesterday, but I was too busy to shoot a video. And so let's talk about progress. Holy buddy. Look at that dog. He's so big. That boat is 8 feet long. And my dog is huge. He's so big. He's so big he makes that boat look like a toy Fisher Price. You're so big, buddy. You're huge. You need a paw? Give me the paw. Come on. I don't have anything. I don't have nothing. Come on. Come on. That was a half-ass. There you go. Good boy. Ain't ya? The big smile? Oh, yeah. There's a big smile. My buddy. Anyway, yeah, my companion is huge. Makes that boat look like it's nothing. And that boat's 8 feet long, so I got a big dog. Anyway, let's talk about progress. Aside from the huge dog, which dwarfs my boat. What did I do? Oh, okay, last video I shot, there was no floor, there was no nose. The framework in the front was, that's all been done since my last video. The floor, see the silicone here? This is 3-hour rain ready, sunproof, freeze proof, UV proof, waterproof, window, door, attic, basement, interior, exterior silicone. Permanently waterproof, permanently flexible, shrink and crack proof. I don't know, man, but that sounds like a pretty good deal. So got some good silicone, and I've been using silicone on like anywhere where I put the plywood to the frame, like sealing it externally. There's gaskets that I made from that. And you can see I've used a lot of it because there's not much of this plunger sticking out. That plunger goes in. I've used quite a bit of that, and I used it on a lot of the joints, the gaskets where I want the boat to be sealed. I used that. So I had to do a silicone gasket on the bottom of the frame rails, and then the boat was upside down, and then we put the floor on top. And I had to pre-drill every single screw hole. I put a lot of screws in this boat. And I had to pre-drill every single hole for the screws. Because if you don't pre-drill it, especially going into something like this 1x2, and the 1x2s down there, which I've double laminated since my last video. So instead of having a single strap, I have a double strap laminated, which equals 2x2, which equals the same size as the rest of my framework, because the rest of my framework is 2x2. So yeah, I double laminated them, put silicone down. Well, I put the floor on first, and then I double laminated them. And yeah, I had to pre-drill every single hole where the screws go, because I don't want to split any pieces of wood, especially these small 1x2 boards. If you put a screw into that, you'd probably split it. So I have to pre-drill every single hole before I put a screw in it. And okay, so what have we done? We've done the floor, we've done silicone gaskets on pretty much all the joints. 2x2 framing, 1/2 inch thick plywood. The nose, let's look inside of the nose. This is inside of the nose here. 2x2 framing. These two front pieces here are different than the plywood. This is 1 inch thick rough cut lumber. I sanded it down a little bit, but that's a 1 inch thick pine board, and it's 12 inches wide, so it's a foot wide. It's pretty, yeah. So I wanted a nice wide plate here you could step on. You could even sit on it if you absolutely needed a third, seat. You could probably have somebody sit on that, maybe somebody small, I don't know. Anyway, so I've got that. I put the nose on. This is not plywood. This is 1x8, which is the same thickness as this, but not as wide. So there's 1x8 nose on the front. I wanted it to be heavy duty in case, you know, in case you smash into something for some reason. Anyway, so I got a thick 1x8 on the front, 1x12 on the top. There's a little bit of overhang here because, I don't know, I think it's cool. And I've seen those plates come out on other people's boats. I was looking at some other homemade boats and for people to step on and whatnot. So that could be a step plate. It could be a storage compartment also. I had considered building a vertical wall here with hinges, so it can hinge up from the back. Because if you step on the front, you don't want it hinging that way. You know what I mean? It would flip. You step on it, it would flip open. So if you did build a storage compartment in the nose, the hinges would have to be on the back. I was going to do that. I changed my mind because keeping with the keep it simple, that's a motto I pretty much live by. Keep it simple. So when I'm doing my projects, I like to keep it fairly simple. You could, like I said, I had considered doing a storage compartment in the nose. You can, but I'm just going to keep it simple and just build a nose step plate. Maybe later, maybe sometime, I don't know, I might put a wall in the front and maybe a door on the front or inside, I don't know. Anyway, that's what I got right now. Could be a storage compartment, but it's not. I put rails on the outside. These are 1x2 strapping. The same as I used on the floor. Double laminated 1x2 strapping, which equals 2x2, which equals the same size as the rest of my frame rails. Like that's 2x2, that's 2x2, and these are 1x2s double laminated. And when you double laminate them, put two of them together, and you end up with a 2x2. But it's so much easier. It's so much easier to curve a 1x2 rather than try to curve a 2x2, because I have a curve that goes up, plus I have a curve that goes in, and you can't curve a 2x2 like that unless you have a steamer, and I don't have a steamer. So those rails are made from double laminated 1x2 because it's easy to work with. What else did I do? I started considering seats. So this is going to be a lot lighter than my previous John boat. The first one I did, I built one of these a few years ago, and I built the frame out of 2x4s. It was strong, but it was heavy. It was really fucking heavy. Excuse my language. It was really heavy, and this is going to be a lot lighter, a lot lighter than my last one. So I'm using 2x2s instead of 2x4s. I'm using 1x2 on the railings, so that's going to be way lighter than a 2x4. It's way lighter than my old boat, my first one. But I learned a few things from my first boat because I built one of these before. And I learned it was really, really heavy, so I'm going to try to lighten this one up a bit. That's why I'm using smaller stuff. But I'm using bigger stuff on the front, like the 1x12 and the 1x8 nose, 1x12 top piece. Those are pretty heavy. Like, they're heavier than plywood, but they're still softwood pine. So I've attached some, I don't know what you want to call them, cleats or whatever. My seat is going to sit on there. And my seat is probably going to be similar to this stuff. That's a 1x12, and that's a 1x8. So see how it's 1 inch thick? It's a lot stronger than plywood, but it's a lot lighter than a 2x4 or something 2 inches thick. So yeah, I'm gonna have 1x8 go from there to there, across there. That'll be probably a seat, and then I'm gonna have another row at the back. And I measured them out, and I checked the gaps in between the seats, and I positioned the center seat slightly behind the center point of the boat. So it's 8 feet long. It starts to curve at 3 feet from the front. So 4 feet from the front is back here. And dealing with buoyancy, because it's not that buoyant in the front, or it's not as buoyant, it's more narrow and it's a smaller nose. So it's going to be more buoyant in the back, but there's also going to be a battery back there for the trolling motor. So I positioned the seat where I think, the center seat, where I think it'll be center buoyancy between the nose and everything else that I have to keep in mind. I could do the same thing at the back, but I might do a 12-inch wide seat at the back. Anyway, I'm running out of time, running on my camera, running out of memory, so that's just a quick update. Sorry I didn't get you an update yesterday, but hey, I've been busy. Deal with it. Look out for some more videos, because I'm not done with this project yet. It's gonna be more awesomer. See you next time, guys. And if you're not a subscriber, click subscribe. Have a good day.